So Nintendo somehow just walked into June 26, looked at Summer Game Fest, looked at the Xbox Showcase, and looked at the PlayStation State of Play, then casually dropped one of the most fan service heavy Nintendo Directs we've seen in a long while. Going into this Direct, expectations were absolutely ridiculous because people wanted Zelda, Xenoblade, Fire Emblem, Kingdom Hearts, people wanted surprises. I thought Nintendo would do what Nintendo usually does, give us a few cool announcements, a couple of ports, some farming games, a random JRPG nobody remembers, then end on something decent. Instead, they ended with Ocarina of Time. Not a remaster, or not even on the Switch Online service, but a full, fat remake. A game that's been rumoured for what feels like half of human history is finally happening. Nintendo officially announced a ground-up remake of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for Switch 2. That alone would have made this Direct memorable, but the crazy thing is, Nintendo didn't stop there, because when you actually look at everything shown throughout the showcase, this was arguably the first Direct that truly made the Switch 2 future feel hype as fuck. So let's get the obvious one out of the way first. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake is real. Nintendo confirmed the project during the Direct and is scheduled for release in 2026. Now, if you're younger, you might hear that announcement and think, cool, they're remaking an old Zelda game, like what's the big deal? But you don't understand, this isn't just some old Zelda game, this is the Zelda game. This is a game that changed everything. Back in '98, Ocarina of Time basically taught the industry how to make 3D adventure games. Z-targeting, dungeon structure, lock-on combat, context-sensitive actions. Half the mechanics we take for granted today were popularized by this game. Its influence is actually everywhere. You can see Ocarina's DNA in Skyrim, Dark Souls, The Witcher, Assassin's Creed, even Breath of the Wild. It's one of the most important video games ever made, and for years Nintendo refused to touch it. Sure, we got the fantastic 3DS version, but that was essentially a remaster, but this time it sounds different. Multiple reports described it as a ground-up remake rather than another enhanced port, and that matters because Ocarina of Time really deserves it. You know, for years Nintendo have watched other franchises get the remake treatment, like RE or Final Fantasy, Dead Space or Demon's Souls, Silent Hill. Meanwhile, Nintendo kept acting like Ocarina was locked in a vault somewhere, like they were scared of touching it or something, but now they're finally doing it, and I think the timing is perfect. People are underestimating how important this is, because this isn't just nostalgia bait. This is Nintendo preserving one of gaming's most important pieces of history. Think about it, a lot of younger gamers have never played Ocarina of Time, or if they have, they bounced off of it, and that's understandable. The original is legendary, but is also a Nintendo 64 game. The camera can feel dated, the movement can feel dated, some design philosophies are nearly 30 years old. A remake allows new players to experience what made Ocarina special without fighting against 98 technology. Because if Nintendo nails this, an entirely new generation gets to understand why older gamers never shut up about this game. Why people still talk about the Forest Temple, the Shadow Temple, or the Spirit Temple, the ending, even the music or the atmosphere. The feeling of becoming adult Link for the first time, that magic deserves to live on. Now moving on, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave finally got a major spotlight. This looks like another easy win for Nintendo. The Direct gave it a release window and a more substantial showing after months of relative silence. Fire Emblem has quietly become one of Nintendo's most reliable franchises. It's kind of crazy actually, because years ago people thought Fire Emblem was dead. Awakening literally saved the series, and now it's one of Nintendo's biggest RPG brands. Every new entry generates huge excitement, and Fortune's Weave looks like another game that will keep the momentum going. Then we get onto one of my all-time top 3 favourite franchises. We get Xenoblade Genesis. Monolith Soft are absolute monsters. I don't know how these people keep doing it, because every time they reveal a new Xenoblade game, it somehow looks bigger than the last one. Nintendo teased Xenoblade Genesis for 2027 while also highlighting upgrades and support for the existing trilogy. Xenoblade isn't just another JRPG, it's becoming one of Nintendo's premium franchises, a system seller, the kind of game that makes RPG fans buy hardware. The fact Nintendo already has another Xenoblade lined up shows how aggressive they're being with the Switch 2 support, and I love to see it. Now, can we also appreciate how insane Kingdom Hearts fans are, because these people survive entirely on trailers and theories. Kingdom Hearts 4 appeared again alongside additional Kingdom Hearts content for Switch 2, and honestly it still looks gorgeous. I still don't understand the story, but nobody understands the story, let's be honest, but I will absolutely play it, just like everyone else. Now, From Software. Nintendo somehow convinced people that new From Software games belong in a Nintendo presentation. That's pretty crazy, to be honest, because it's always been PS5 in the past, and the Dustbloods continue to make experiences with Nintendo highlighting future testing and support. Every time From Software releases something, the gaming industry collectively loses its mind. And honestly, deserved, because they've earned that reputation. You can't really go wrong with Elden Ring or Dark Souls. One thing that really stood out during the Direct was how much third-party support Nintendo has secured. Like, if you actually look at some of the names involved, you got DMC5, Dragon's Dogma 2, Stellar Blade, Liza P, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy projects, and tons more. This isn't Wii U Nintendo, this isn't even an early Switch Nintendo, this is Nintendo operating from a position of strength. Publishers want to be there, developers want to be there, and that's a huge shift from where Nintendo used to be. Then we got onto the Star Fox problem, because poor Star Fox always gets overshadowed, and I hope this franchise finally gets the comeback it deserves, because Nintendo needs more big action franchises. Star Fox should be one of them. It's an absolute classic. Nintendo also remembered Rhythm Heaven. Now, I remember playing the 3DS game back in the old school days. I absolutely loved it. I was actually kind of addicted, to be honest, but I'm glad to be getting a sequel because I want to revisit that franchise. This Direct wasn't just good because of the games, it was good because it answered a question Nintendo desperately needed to answer. What does the future of Switch 2 actually look like? And now we know it's Zelda, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, Kingdom Hearts, From Software, Star Fox, Splatoon, the Switch 2 sports titles, third-party support, and the pipeline is absolutely stacked. This finally feels like a platform with crazy hype. They showed ambition, showed that the Switch 2 isn't surviving off Mario Kart alone. They showed that they have a roadmap, and most importantly, they finally gave fans the announcement they've been begging for, Ocarina of Time. After decades of requests and endless rumours, after years of speculation, it's finally here. So overall, I think this is one of Nintendo's strongest directs in years. Not perfect or flawless, but memorable. And honestly, that's what matters the most, because years from now, people probably won't remember every port, every trailer, or every release date, but they will remember where they were when Nintendo finally announced Ocarina of Time Remake, because some announcements transcend normal gaming news. They become moments, and for Nintendo fans, this was one of those moments. Now let me know down below what your favourite announcement from the Direct was. Are you more excited for Ocarina of Time Remake than GTA 6? And most importantly, do you think Nintendo can actually remake a masterpiece without losing what made it special? Because after waiting nearly 3 decades, the pressure has never been higher, and honestly, I cannot wait to see what they've been cooking.